Good morning. Welcome once again to another edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday right here on yourprimetimesports.com. We are live once again from Batten's Donuts and Bakery in the Paragould Plaza. I'm Dave Grimm, and as always, Clifton Garmrath right here next to me. Wherever there is Dave Grimm, there's usually
don't say
Clifton
that.
Garmrath.
That is not true.
Actually not true, because I was here by myself last week and you were out gallivanting.
But good morning.
How are you guys doing?
In bed at 1 o'clock this morning and up again.
It's a long drive from Beebe to Paragould.
Long drive.
And that's what we did last night. We were in Beebe for the opening week of conference play in the 5A East Conference, the bread and butter conference for us. And Paragould, some would say upset win, but some would say, no, we knew this was coming. 28-21 over the Beebe Badgers last night. We were there, brought it to you live on yourprimetimesports.com, and that game will be available on our video on demand channel probably later on today.
Yeah, and that was just a really well-played football game. It was close, most of the game, within, I think, 8 points at one time, and then within a touchdown.
But Paragould led by as many as 15 towards the end of the game.
That's right. And I thought Coach Branham made some good play calling, mixed it up with his running backs in the backfield and with his passing. Dexter Thompson had an awesome football game as a receiver. Stedham hit the mark many, many times. So I just thought it was a well-played football game. I thought they did a good job, and now they're 1-0 in the conference, and they've won 2 football games in a row.
3 amazing performances last night by 3 different players. Michael Stidham, the quarterback, Dexter Thomas, the running back. Thompson, I'm sorry, and Dylan Hoggard, the primary running back. They just carried that team last night to that win. Almost all the yardage can be attributed to just those 3 guys.
Well, and the offensive line did a great job, obviously, blocking. I know if Coach Branham was here, he would have something to say about that, because you got to open holes to get the running back through the hole, and they did that very well last night. They picked up a lot of key first downs, and they moved the football well, and they played defense well. So anyway, I just thought it was a well-played football game, and Paragould came home with a victory.
And we were talking about this last night at the game. We really do not remember the last time Paragould opened conference play with a win. We don't remember the last time they won at Beebe. We don't remember the last time they won 2 games in a row. I mean, it was a really milestone program-building win for Paragould last night.
Yeah, it was, and I felt like they were going to have a pretty decent year this year. I didn't know how they were going to start out in the conference or how they were going to start out with their non-conference schedule. But I don't know. When I was putting the magazine together back earlier in the year, and I was getting the profile pictures of the players, I thought, Coach Brown's got some good athletes here. And
they were starting to click now.
Yeah.
They lost their opening 2 games, the first one to Valley View and the next one after that to Pocahontas. Haven't lost a game since Pocahontas. They beat Kennett last week, and then on the road at Beebe, a team that is perennial power in the 5A East. They're just down this year, I guess, and Paragould took care of business in Beebe last night. Now,
Before you go to that, let's talk about our crosstown other team, Greene County Tech.
That was the next one we were going to talk about.
They lost 25-20 last night to Forrest City.
A squeaker last night, but they were down by as many as it was 19-0 at one time.
19-0 at halftime, and you remember me saying, I reminded Mike Batten this morning of that. Remember me saying before the season kicked off, or maybe that first week, Forrest City was going to be a lot better this year.
Forrest City is better this year. They've had big wins. They had a big win in week 1 over Gosnell. They had a big win in week 3 over, was it Mariana that they played in week 3? So they had 2, and they scored 50-plus points in both of those games. And they lost week 2. I cannot remember for the life of me who it was they lost to. But they're 3-1 right now. And 1-0 in conference play. Forrest City is going to contend this year.
Yeah, Coach Trail had told me last year they were 0-9-1, and he had told me, he said, Cliff, he said, I was just young. Our team was young last year, and he said you're gonna see a difference this year.
And it's a reversal of fortunes because Forrest City and Paragould both at the bottom of the list in the conference standings last year, both won their openers, and for the time being at least, are at the top of the conference standings.
Yeah, and Forrest City only had 6 seniors, but yeah, it's a flip flop right now.
It's a complete flip flop right this minute.
Now,
we got a long way to go.
Yeah, this is just the first week of conference play, but one of the surprises for me last night was the thumping that Blytheville took.
Yeah, and that was at Blytheville too.
Yeah,
and we were talking about his team is young. We were talking about this with Coach McCroskey here last week. He's got a young team, and he's trying to. This is his first year as the head coach there,
right.
And he's trying to, for lack of a better word, it sounds cliche, but he's trying to rebuild the Blytheville program, and that's not going to happen overnight.
No.
And you're going to take thumpings like they took last night in the process, especially to a Wynne Yellowjacket team that is the consensus pick to be contending for a state championship this year.
Well, Coach Hill and his Yellowjackets obviously didn't let up on them last night with that score. I mean, they put it on them. So,
one more game of note in the 5A East, the final game, Batesville over Nettleton, 38-12, and that makes the standings. The 1-0 teams are Batesville, Forrest City, Paragould, and Wynne. We never thought we'd be saying that, but they are 1-0 in conference play after week 4 rather, of the season. And then Beebe, Blytheville, Greene County Tech, and Nettleton all at 0-1 in conference play. Lots more games to get to. I mean, this is just the beginning of conference play. Next week, Batesville will travel here to Paragould. It will be a very tough test for the Rams next week, right behind us back here on in the stadium. Blytheville will face off against Nettleton. Blytheville's going to Nettleton next week for a road game. BB will travel to Forrest City next week, and Wynne is going to stay at home against Greene County Tech, and that's the game that we're going to bring you live next week right here on yourprimetimesports.com. So that takes care of last night's football action. Very, very soon we're going to have our first guest sitting in the chair that I am in right now, and we're going to start out talking 5A East golf. We've got some great, fantastic golf teams right here in this county, and we're going to talk about them both during the course of the show this morning, starting with Paragould.
Yes, Coach Matt McGowan, the golf coach for the boys and girls for Paragould Rams, is going to be our first guest, and he's sitting right over there with his family waiting, and we'll have him on for about 25 minutes and get to talk some golf.
Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to take about a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Coach McGowan right here on yourprimetimesports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service with the big dogs, Chrysler Jeeps and Rams. At Fed, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always the VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Fed does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
Through the years, First National Bank has created memories, starting new relationships, handing over keys and responsibilities, planning for the future, and building foundations, realizing dreams and destinations, sharing a lifetime of memories. First National Bank.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould, or on the web at chrisrobinson@allstate.com.
Welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com. Our first segment is getting underway now, our first guest, rather. And Clifton is with Coach Matt McGowan of the Paragould Golf Program.
Good morning, Matt. Glad to have you. And you brought your family up here to Battens this morning. Done had your breakfast ready to go for the day, aren't you?
Yeah, I appreciate you having us here, Clifton. I brought him up here this morning. He got up at 6:30 ready to come up here. He was beating on the door, so I figured we need to get him out and get him out and see what's going on. He's watching everybody come in as they come through, and I think he's going back for more now.
Well, Paxton, he was waving at me a minute ago and sitting across the room, and that's the fun age right there.
Oh, yeah. The ready to go at 6:30, pops up and takes off running, and here we go, and it's chase them all day long, basically.
You wish you could keep them around that age for a long, long time.
Yeah, for a little while I wish that he would walk and get up and start walking. Now I wish he'd go back sitting around for a little while so I wouldn't have to chase him all the time. But it's fun. It's always exciting, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, I know you wouldn't. Is he going to be a golfer like Dad?
We put a golf club in his hand a little bit. Now he wants to hit people with it instead of hit a ball. That's kind of what he likes to do. But he likes to walk around the course, and he likes to run around the course and run across the greens and pick up the flags and things like that. So we're starting him off slow, but it's going pretty good.
He's just having fun. So, well, let's talk about the game of golf. And Coach McGowan, for the viewers that do not keep up with golf, he is the head golf coach for the boys and the girls. And you had a pretty awesome season this year, didn't you?
We for the boys, we had to replace a lot of players. We had one boy coming back with some experience, and that made it pretty difficult on us in the beginning. With high expectations on top, but didn't know what we was going to have coming in. We had to go find us some players, and it turned out okay for us. We ended up having a pretty good year. We ended up pretty good in district, but for the girls, we come in with high expectations, finishing 4th in the state last year with everybody back and winning the district last year. We knew what we had. We just needed to do it again.
Well, and the girls came out on top, and the boys were runner-up. Am I correct in
yes.
that? Behind Greene County Tech, and that has a lot of saying right there that two teams from the same community put two top-notch golf programs out on the course.
Yeah, I mean, in our league, it's pretty competitive. We've always, year in, year out, had guys that compete in the state level and compete high in the state level. This year, we were fortunate enough to have the district at Paragould, and that makes a big difference when it comes down to home field advantage. It made it even easier for us because I really didn't have to do much. Tech hosted it, and all I had to do was bring my team out there, and we just had to play. So, that took a little pressure off me getting it all together, and Coach Hunt was responsible for that, and I could just focus in on our team and what we needed to do. And we came out and I told them what they needed to do, and we did it, and that's what was important.
Now that brings up a good question. Does Paragould Rams and Greene County Tech utilize Paragould Country Club as their home course?
Yes, we both practice out there. They're both the Paragould Country Club is nice enough to let us use it for practice and for matches, and usually if they don't have a tournament scheduled on a day, we can have a tournament. And we try to take care of the country club out there. They tell us they want certain things done. We try to do that. We try to help Kevin pick up range balls and things like that. Just do the little things so they'll let us keep coming back. Most places have trouble with the country club, and most schools have trouble getting into a country club and getting it a place to play. But we're fortunate enough to get to play at Paragould, and it's a nice place. And everybody likes to come to our place. When we schedule matches, we usually don't have to schedule a lot of away matches because everybody wants to come to ours and play, and that makes it nice on us.
Well, it is a very nice course. I've played it many times myself, which I don't play golf much anymore. I'm on the run all the time with a couple of different jobs, but it is a very nice course, and I was out there a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed some things that I had not noticed several years ago when I played, some sand traps that were no longer there, or some sand traps that were placed in front of greens that I thought, nah, this wasn't here a few years ago.
Yeah, they redid the course a few years back, and they've actually made changes. We added a new greenskeeper this year, and he's doing an excellent job. And from some of the things that they've done, it's been a big improvement. It's made the golf course a lot tougher. But that plays to our advantage when we have teams come in. The tougher the golf course, the better for us.
Besides Greene County Tech, who was a couple of other tough teams in the conference?
Well, for the boys, Beebe and Nettleton both tied for third and had a playoff to see who would go to state. Beebe ended up winning that playoff. Exciting. The kid from Beebe chipped in on the last hole to send them to state. It was a strange day from some of the way things happened. Beebe ended up having medalists at the district. Noah Tullis and the kid from Beebe tied, and he won in a playoff.
The boy from Beebe
won in a playoff, and it was pretty exciting. In girls, we were pretty much the favorite coming in. I think the Nettleton girls had improved as the year went along. They finished second. We knew what score we had to shoot, and we did that, and that would have been good enough. And then in third place, Batesville came in third, and from there it was kind of in girls we had 19 girls participate in the district, and 18 of them qualified for the state.
Really?
So and that's a large number. There are some districts that don't fill all their state spots, and year in and year out, our district usually produces the girl from Wynne finished in the top 5 last year. We usually have year in and year out. We usually have a girl, some pretty good girls teams in our league.
Well, let's talk about briefly. You won this district title, or the girls won the district title. The boys were runner-up last Tuesday. Now you go to state. Now is that this following week? This coming week?
The girls' state is this coming week. It's Tuesday. Practice round on Tuesday, state on Wednesday. The boys is the following week. The boys is the first week of October.
So they have an additional week to practice.
Yes.
Okay.
We try to schedule a match after the girls' state just for the boys, so we can I'm going to be gone 2 days for the girls' state, and so when I get back, we can have another match to prepare ourselves for the state. So we try to keep playing that extra week for the boys just to give them a little bit more, we try to bring in a good team. I think we got Jonesboro coming in, and they're undefeated in the year. They won state the last 2 years, going for a three-peat. And I don't think anybody's. A couple of years ago, we snuck up on them at Mountain Home. I think we were the only team to get them that year. It's going to be a challenge for us. They've got 15 guys that can all shoot a good score that we really need to, that we have trouble getting to. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us.
Well, Sleepyhead just walked in here a minute ago, so we'll have him on. Noah Tullis, who was the young man that Coach McGowan was talking about that was in the playoff for the low medalist honors, and so we'll have some brief discussion with him in just a minute. But so let's talk about your girls program. I seen 4 girls in the newspaper. Tell us about those. I don't know those girls very well, so talk to us a little bit about those girls and how they progressed throughout their career in the game of golf.
All right. When I first took over the golf program, this is my 3rd year to be the head golf coach. We didn't have a girls program, and I had one girl that really wanted to play golf, and she was a sophomore at the time. And
is that Jenna Williams?
No, it's Jamie Meyer.
Jamie, I knew it started with a J because I heard that story.
And so we went out and found 3 more golfers. I found 3 freshmen that really were interested in playing, and we had to find clubs for a couple of them. And but we started working with them, and we started, now they have their own clubs. They go out and play now. But we progressed from, our goal last year was to break 300 as a team, and that's where we have at least one, added together, we below 100. As this year went along, at the district, I said we needed to break 280. That was our goal, is to break 280. I felt like we'd win the district if we broke 280. We ended up shooting 268 in the district, which for the first time since that I can remember, we put 2 girls in the 80s, which is a big accomplishment for us. we played a couple weeks ago. We played in the Hurricane Classic, and probably the favorite to win the state is Hot Springs Lakeside in girls. They shot a 260, and that was one of his better scores for the year, and they were undefeated. So it kind of shows where we're at. We're still behind the big teams in the state, but we're catching up. We're creeping in. We're getting closer. Last year we came in and finished 4th in the state, 1 shot behind Hope for 3rd. There was 2 really good teams out there, and Greenwood got bumped up to Class 6A, and Hope graduated a bunch of the girls. So we're hoping we can play ourselves into contention for the state, and with that 268 score, that was I just can't say how proud I am of them. That was if you told me 268, I said you were lying to me. 2 girls in the 80s, that's the first time we've ever done that, and I'm just proud of the way they played. And,
well, you've come a long way in a very short period of time, because I know you haven't been the golf coach that long.
No, it's just been a 3-year process.
Yeah.
But the problem is we've got 3 juniors and 1 senior, so we've got to go back and find us some more girls to fill in that spot and keep this thing rolling. And I'll be hitting, I guess, kind of like a college coach. I got to hit the recruiting trail again and try to find me some that want to play.
Who's your lone senior?
Jamie Myers is my lone senior.
Okay.
She shot an 87 in the district, which I think that put her 3rd or 4th in the district score-wise. And then I have 3 juniors. I have Ashley Simpson, Jenna Williams, and Sydney Layrock. Sydney Layrock plays 2 sports. She's a volleyball player and a golfer.
She plays more than that.
Yeah, well, at the time, she's playing 2 sports right now, and so we have to work her schedule around.
Boy, she's all over the place, isn't she?
Yeah, I can get her probably usually before school starts, because, our golf season starts the second week of July in practicing, and we start the first week of August for our first match. So I get her a little bit before school starts in a few matches, and then we try to work a couple of matches in as the year goes on, and then we get her for district and state. And she shot a 92, and that was her low since she's been with me in the district. So I can't say I do much with her and help her a whole lot, but her athletic ability carries her through, and
very athletic.
I think she's going to be one in the 80s next year.
For the ones that do not know, golf actually starts, y'all start competing and playing matches before school even starts.
Yeah, a couple of years ago the AAA moved it, so we could do that. And it benefits us in some ways and it hurts us in some ways. A bunch of our kids play summer golf. When they play summer golf, they go right into the season. They're still playing. Noah was still playing tournaments when our season got started. So he missed the first couple of matches. We actually hosted a big tournament, and I had 2 kids going to play in the regionals just because they were still playing in other competition.
Right.
But it does benefit us a little bit that they can continue on from the summer, I guess. They've been playing all summer. They just keep it going. If they're not burnt out, they don't play too much. It works out pretty good. But, yeah, we benefit a little bit from playing since the AAA moved it.
Do you like that starting before school starts? Maybe what is it, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, well, the one thing we can do is we can play 18 hole matches.
Okay.
That's the key. We can tee off at 10 o'clock in the morning, and when we tee off at 10 o'clock in the morning, that allows us to play 18 holes. Sometimes when school starts, we don't get tee off till 3:30 or 4. When we tee off at 3:30 or 4, darkness catches us.
Sure.
So we can only play 9 holes. So, it gives us a chance to put 5 or 6 matches in there. We can play 18 and, it just benefits us all around.
Now tell us, when you have, I think I was out there one day when Paragould Tech and may have been Nettleton playing a match, or no, Valley View, that's who it was, Paragould Tech and Valley View. And I noticed a lot of kids, there was more than 4 golfers per team out there, so do you take the top 4 scores, or how do you do that when you're matched up?
Well, we usually play. The boys play 5 count 4.
Okay.
So they have 5 scores and they count the best 4. The girls play 4 count 3. So we'll play 4 girls and we'll count the 3 best scores.
Okay.
It's not per hole. It's per the round.
Right.
So and then we try to get everybody in. We try to fit everybody into a match. If we have 12 on the team, if we have 13 on the team, we try to get everybody in, at least play 9 holes in a match just to get used to the competition, kind of a JV type match.
Right.
Just to work everybody in.
Because I noticed there were a lot of kids on your golf team that were coming up to number 1 later on that afternoon, and there may be 2 Rams in that group with one Valley
Right.
View, and I thought, okay, these guys are young. They're probably freshmen or sophomores or whatever, and they're probably just getting some practice in,
Right. You know,
and learning the competition, what it's like to be out here.
we need them in it. We need to see them in a format where they can actually perform. We need them to do some little things like they got to keep somebody else's score. They need to just actually play against somebody else instead of just a normal practice where they're playing against our guys on a day-in, day-out basis. They can actually get in and just to see what the competition level's like. And them guys are competing for spots too. They're trying to get into the top 5. And if we don't let them play in a match of that situation, we really don't know how they're going to perform.
Right. Now, this is something new this year. You guys were live TV now, internet TV. So, second thing is you only have to take your headset off like we did last year in audio. We passed headsets around. I have Noah Tullis, the number 1 golfer for the Paragould Rams, here with us. He just came in. Good morning, Noah.
Good morning to you, Clifton.
Going to ask you a few questions. This is your senior year, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've been on the golf team all 4 years?
That's right.
Tell us how you progressed from a freshman to a senior, and what it's like being in that playoff that you ran last Tuesday.
Well, I just came, and that was my goal, starting out as my freshman year to win the district time I was a senior, and then I got into that playoff. It just didn't happen, but had a lot of bad luck that day, and I'm just trying to shake it off now and try to work on winning state.
Well, you definitely have to shake it off. I used to play many, many years ago, and my dad would always tell me, when you hit a bad shot, don't worry, just move on, because if you let that dwell on you, it will eat you up.
Oh, definitely. You just got to shake it off sometimes and almost just forget about whatever you've played and come back and play the next hole.
Now, last year as a junior, were you low medalist last year?
I know. I got second again last year, not in the playoff, but
right.
I got second again.
So you've been second 2 years in a row
Yes.
in a low medalist honor. So, well, I'm going to tell you something. Well, there's a lot of people that take second, wouldn't you think, Coach?
Well, I take playing my own ball being second.
Yeah, so you have something to be proud of. I know, as an athlete, and I know that you are. Noah plays basketball and golf, and you play anything else besides those 2?
Yeah, that's all.
And so I've never met an athlete that doesn't want to be first, So
Yeah.
we don't always get to be, but second is a very honorable thing in the game of golf. Golf is a great sport. It's a great individual game, but you also play it with a team. Sometimes
Yeah, that's right.
So now, how are you preparing? Is it at Little Rock or Hot Springs?
It's at Harrison.
At Harrison. Okay, they moved it on me. So how are you preparing? You have 2 weeks for the state tournament at Harrison.
I'm not really preparing any different, just going out and practicing like I did for district and all year. And I played pretty good at district. I was happy with the way I played there, and just some unfortunate things worked out there, so I'm just planning on trying to go out and not really change anything, just try to go out and play my game at state. Hopefully everything will work out.
And I think that's what you have to do, and is just go out and play your game like you do every day. Now, the course that you're playing on in Harrison, are you familiar with that course?
I wouldn't say familiar. I have played it before, and I know the layout and some of the holes and things, and we'll see a lot of that in our practice round when we go the day before too. But I wouldn't say familiar with it, though.
Okay, but you have been on the course before.
Yes, I have.
So now, with your teammates, I'm sure that you being the senior, are you the lone senior?
No, there's another senior, Chris Rogers. He's on the team.
Okay.
But I'm the only one that's been playing for 4 years.
Okay. They kind of look to you for leadership, don't they?
I think so.
So, well, and they should.
Yeah.
They really should. And you pass the torch when the season's over.
That's right.
So because, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the 5th straight year that the boys have went to the state?
Yes, we've qualified 5 straight years.
That's
now.
awesome. That's an awesome accomplishment, I think. And then, is this the first year for the girls?
No, this will actually be, we qualified in girls all 3 years too, since we've had girls.
All right, so so 3 years for the girls, 5 for the boys, and but anyway, Noah, you're gonna I want you to know this from the bottom of our heart. We're going to be rooting for you.
Well, thank you.
We hope that someone sends us some information, a text or whatever, so we can get it posted. We're trying to get the coaches around Northeast Arkansas to send us information, and some of the volleyball coaches, golf coaches, whatever, so we can get it up and posted, and people do not have to wait till the next morning to read it or hear it on the radio or whatever. So we're trying to keep it, up early. Believe me, there's a lot of folks get on here and check things. So keep us posted. Let us know how you do up there. If you get a good picture or something, send it to us. We'll put it on yourprimetimesports.com. And we wish you the best of luck. Wish the girls the best of luck. Hope they do well. So we're going to take a, 2-minute commercial?
That's right, 2 minutes, and when we come back, our next guest will be here. It's the assistant head coach of the Greene County Tech Eagles football team, Mack Skelton. We are live. Go ahead.
Well, before we kick off here, I just want to thank Coach McGowan for coming in and talking to us about the Paragould Ram golf program, and for Noah getting out of bed and coming up here and talking to us about his skills and what he's preparing to do in 2 weeks. So good luck to you guys, and appreciate y'all coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're live from Batten's Donuts and Bakery on a Saturday morning, Double G Sports Talk Saturday. We'll return in 2 minutes on yourprimetimesports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service. Always the best Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. And there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always the B.I.D. Saving service, great selection too. Best does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs, whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement. Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould, or on the web at chrisrobinson@allstate.com.
Welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com, Double G Sports Talk Saturday. Next guest in the seat with Clifton right now, it is the assistant head coach of Greene County Tech, Mack Skelton.
Yeah, Coach Mack Skelton, how are you this morning?
Could be better.
Could be better. I understand. I know what took place last night was not there. I always say it's kind of hard for any coach to come up to Batten's Donuts in the Saturday morning after a loss, but we'll get into that in just a minute. I want to tell our viewers that Coach Mack Skelton is one of the newest coaches to the Greene County Tech coaching staff. He is the assistant head coach to Coach Jeff Conaway, and he is the defensive coordinator. And so Coach Conaway could not be here this morning, so guess what an assistant coach gets to do?
Hey, all day.
All day. There you go. Coach Skelton is a great guy. We have come to know one another since he came to Greene County Tech this summer. We've texted one another, stayed in touch, help do this, help do that. So anyway, it's a pleasure to have him this morning to be a part of yourprimetimesports.com. Now, let's get right into talking Friday night football. Last night I received a text. We have people around the state that keep us informed on the games that we are not at, and Greene County Tech was down 19-0. But then I received a text at the end of the game, 25-20 is how the final score ended up. Tell us what happened in that first half compared to the second half.
Well, in the first half, I felt like we gave up some big plays that really hurt us, and we came out a little flat. But in that second half, we came out fired up and came out and played like we could, and it was a lot different.
You know, Coach Conaway has discussed that coming out flat when he's been on the program. What is it going to take to get these boys pumped up before the first quarter starts instead of the third?
Yeah, that that's kind of the magic question. We come in and I feel like we stay focused for the most part before the game, and we'll come out and go through our last minute adjustments before the game. But really, it's a matter of getting out there as a player and just executing and using the fundamentals that you've been taught. And a lot of those kids, have different things going on and that type of deal. But they just came out a little flat, and that really hurt us in that first part of the game.
Well, maybe they'll understand that after last night's play, and which I do want to say that I had actually picked Forrest City to be the up and newcomer this season. They were 0-9-1 last season. They were very, very young, and I actually had them picked to have an improving year. I just didn't think it would be on Greene County Tech.
Right.
And but anyway, Coach Trail has obviously done a pretty good job with those football players south of us down at Forrest City, the Forrest City Mustangs. Now we get to talk a lot about the offensive side of the ball for the Greene County Tech Eagles. You're the defensive coordinator, so let's talk about the defensive side of the ball today more than the offensive side. Who are some of your main players and some of the things that they contribute on the field, maybe even off the field?
Well, we've got a pretty good group. I've got an excellent group of guys to work with. I work with the defensive line primarily in individual drills, and I've got 3 guys there that really do a good job for me. And Braden Johnson plays defensive end for me. Caleb Bayrow plays defensive end, and then Jake Mitchell plays nose guard. They do a good job. They come out to work every single day and get in there and mix it up. Our linebacking crew does a great job. Coach Morton has done an excellent job with those guys. Outside linebackers, had a pretty good game last night. Inside linebackers as well. Our secondary, they kind of hurt us a little bit last night, but then they came back and played really well. But we've got to find a way to really take away the big play. And we gave up a lot of big plays. We're getting hit, a 3rd and 20, a 3rd and 15, and they'll catch a ball, or break something on us, and that's what we've got to do a better job of, is taking away that big play. And if we can do that, I feel like we've got a really good defense, and we've got a really good shot to win some ball games.
Now, I was surprised from the person that was keeping me informed last night that Forrest City went to the air a lot.
Yes, they did.
And that's uncommon for them. Now, are they running the spread now too?
No, they were throwing it out of the slot eye formation, and then also a little bit of gun out of a split back look with a slot. And they really, I felt like we did an excellent job of stopping the run, which was our number one priority coming into the game. Of course, I knew that they were going to throw it a little bit because they've got some stud receivers, some really athletic kids, and that's something that we always try to keep in mind as coaches is we don't want to focus on the negatives of our stuff and
Right.
take away from the positives of what Coach Trell and Forrest City brings to the table. He's got a Division I athlete in Tevin Bingham, who's a defensive end for him that's going to the University of Arkansas. He's got a couple of receivers there that are pretty long and lean and can go get it. And the quarterback really impressed me last night as well. Ethan Adams did a great job of throwing it up there and letting them go get it. So to take away from that is taken away from what they bring to the table. But once again I felt like we did a really good job in some areas, but the big play really got us, and then just coming out flat.
Yeah, obviously you played much better the second half because you were down 19-0 at halftime, and they only scored a touchdown the second half, because the score ended up 25-20, and then y'all got on the board in the second half and put some action out on the field. But let's talk about this Bingham just a second. When I put the magazine together back during the summer, obviously I have to meet with all the schools before the schools are out for the summer. It's the best time to get that done. So there are some kids that are not in the magazine because they've not decided if they want to play yet the upcoming year. There are some kids that are not there for whatever reason, but I do get most of them. When this young man walked up to me, he is huge. He is 6'5", 237 pounds, tight end, Tevin Bingham, number 80. And like you said, he's already signed with the University of Arkansas. So, yeah, I bet he was hard to handle last night.
Yeah, you was talking about some of the kids maybe not playing or something. I wish he wouldn't have played last night. But he is a monster. His closing speed is what really sets him apart, I think. He was coming off the edge, getting the stuff that, most kids just aren't going to get to. And I think that's what really, makes him that caliber of an athlete. When you're talking about an SEC defensive end, that's what you're looking for right there. So he was really impressive. But, they're so fast on defense. And, an old coach once told me, hey, speed kills. And that's true.
Yeah.
Defensively, if you've got a lot of speed out on the field, you can really take away a lot of what an offense is going to send you just because of that. So he's a major factor in that.
Well, I'm going to pick at him here a little bit. When he approached me the day we were taking these pictures, you noticed his hair in the magazine? It was green. He came up to me and he said, hey, my hair's supposed to be blue. Something happened.
Some kind of wrong mix, huh?
So I told him, I said, well, I'll fix that in Photoshop. Well, obviously the magazine does not come out till like 4 months later, and I forgot.
Right.
Trying to put all this together, and forgot to change it to blue for him in Photoshop, so I hope he's not mad at me. But he is a big young man. Now, let's talk about your defensive line. Who are some of those guys, and how are they doing? I think there was some leading seniors last year that we lost. So you've had to do a lot of replacement on the defensive line. So tell us about the defensive line.
We've moved a senior down from linebacker named Caleb Bayrow, who does an excellent job for us. He has been a pleasure to coach. He's come in and taken on that role without having any kind of issues with it. A lot of times when you take a player out of their natural position and move them somewhere else, they have some hard feelings with that. But Caleb has come in and really stepped up and done a good job for me. He started there in the summer in some camps, and I told him, I said, hey, I know you want to play linebacker, but you're doing an excellent job for me at defensive end. So he stayed there. Hunter Matheny, one kid that is listed in the magazine as a defensive end there, was one of the leading defensive players last year on that squad, if I'm not mistaken, leading tackler. And he's gotten a lot of work on offense and, hasn't really seen a lot of time defensively. we're trying to develop an offense and a defense that are one-way players, so that we can stay fresh, throughout the game. One of the issues that I've seen with being at Paragould last year and then Greene County Tech this year is, you don't have the depth that some of these other teams do. So it's really important to develop both sides of the ball, so that you're not a 3A school, for instance, that has to play both ways. That ends up, you're dying at the end of the game and not getting anything done on either side of the ball. So that's one of the main factors of where he's at. We've also got Braden Johnson, who's done an excellent job for me at defensive end opposite of Bayrow there. And Johnson is a kid that had also played some linebacker. We moved him down, and he has really excelled as a defensive end. So we've been blessed there. Jake Mitchell, he plays nose guard for me. He came over really from the offense. He was playing a fullback spot for us on offense, and he gets off the ball, gets good penetration, and that really helps us. Once again, if you can put speed on the defensive side of the ball, and you can get those kids, coached up, doing what they need to do, you're a lot better off. So that's what we've tried to do, and I feel like, with exception of a couple of games, I've been pretty pleased with how we've played. But once again, it's those big time plays, those deep balls that get you, and that's what we've got to focus on, and we've got to get a lot better there.
Now, is Chris Johnson, is he one of your other linebackers?
Chris Johnson is our middle linebacker. Chris does an excellent job for us, real hard-nosed kid. He gets downhill. He has really developed over the course of the summer and the first part of the year here of reading stuff and, reading those linemen and getting downhill and stopping the run, and theoretically in the 5A East, if you can stop the run, you're in pretty good shape. But as we saw last night, we're going to have to be able to stop that deep ball as well. Our other inside linebackers, Garrett Latham and Drew Keith, are seniors, experienced kids, and I've really been impressed with the way they have played and gotten downhill and made some big tackles. Garrett's a pretty good sized kid, and he has a lot of range for being his size. So they've done a really good job for me as well. We've had kind of a rotation at outside linebacker with Logan Haley,
who's new this year.
Yeah, who's new this year. Brian Griffith, who plays a lot of offensive stuff for us as well, and then Ryan Cupp, who we just got back. And a list of others have stepped in and played some outside linebacker for me. But right now I think we're solidifying that spot, with Cupp back. Cupp had shoulder surgery, and we didn't have him for the first, couple of games.
I was just fixing to ask you, was last night his first game back, or did he play the week before?
His first game back was Highland as far as stepping on the field. But he didn't get a ton of playing time there. But last night was his first full game back.
Okay.
And that's one of those things to where, I thought he did a great job, considering the fact that he hasn't gotten a lot of time in practice, a lot of reps that these other kids have gotten because of that shoulder surgery. But he is such an excellent kid and a hard-working kid. And, the score sometimes doesn't reflect that the work that you put in during the week. It doesn't reflect the heart of the kids that we've got or the heart of the coaches we've got. But it's our job to really get out there and get better and, motivate these kids to not come out flat like we've talked about before. and to take away the deep ball.
Right.
And I think the guys that we've got at defensive back, and once again we're through injury, through kids quitting and that type of stuff, we're trying to solidify some spots here. And I feel like with the kids that we've got out there, Tucker Harris, for instance, coming off of MCL surgery. He was out there last night, had MCL surgery last Friday. Hadn't got a lot of reps, and it showed. But that's something that we can overcome, and Coach John David Patillo does an excellent job with those guys, works really hard with them, and I know that they'll be ready and they'll improve each week. And that's something that as a coach, that's pretty much all you can ask for, is that we improve each week, get better, and we get to the point to where we're not doing the things that are hurting us. And I feel like, once again, you can't count out the Greene County Tech Eagles.
No, I don't think you can count them out at all. And there's another young man here that I'm looking at that I know I've seen on the defensive side of the ball. And you mentioned his father, John David, a minute ago, is Nick Patillo.
Yeah.
What addition is he? Now, he's a D-back, am I correct?
He is. He's our starting safety. And Nick, you couldn't ask for a better kid. You couldn't ask for, a more solid individual than him, or his father. His father's the exact same way. Nick came in and right from the beginning just really impressed me with his speed and his, as hard-nosed as he played. He's the type of kid that'll come down from free safety and feel off the edge and just, rock people. And that's one of those things that really helps when you have that type of kid out there. Once again, you have that kind of mindset when you go in that, you feel really good about things that's going on, and then as the game, the game progresses, some bad things can happen. But once again, these kids are working hard. They've made some mistakes. We as coaches have made mistakes, so we've got to get all of that stuff ironed out. And I feel like that coaches wise and players wise, we can do that. But that's the task in front of us.
Well, and who on the defensive side of the ball is your leading tackler? Do you have that off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. If I was going to guess, I would say it would be Nick Patillo, or one of our linebackers. It seems like the last time that I looked, Garrett Latham and Chris Johnson and Nick Patillo are right there in the top 3 to 5, or Garrett, 1 to 5. So
Garrett's a big-time leader on that side of the ball for you. I want to tell you something. I seen, I believe, can't remember which game it was, but it was a home game at I know what it was. It was the Saturday game that got moved to Saturday, Rivercrest. I had the opportunity to come to that game, and boy, I seen Jake Mitchell lay a lick on a guy, and I think it was in the third quarter. And I'm telling you, he will smoke you if you give him if you don't block him and you give him the opportunity.
All right. We seeing that, that's the thing that really, it frustrates you in a way as a coach that you hear a lot of things, at the school and in the community, and a lot of people they doubt or not necessarily doubt, but they kind of get down on the kids, and I had a comment from someone one time that said something about, well, it's a rebuilding year, it's a blah blah blah, this and that, and they'll talk about the negatives of things, and then you look at the kids out there and how hard they're playing, and just some bad things that happen that don't reflect it on the scoreboard, and that kind of is one of those things that bothers you as a coach, and but the thing is when it all boils down, that's the nature of the beast. I mean, we've got to get out there and improve and keep that from happening. But if you look at the teams that we've played, just take Jonesboro, for instance, and as well as we played in parts of that game, we had so many mistakes and so many big plays that just killed us.
Well,
that's one of those things. I mean, we've just got to get that polished up and take away those things that are really killing us, and I think we'll be there.
I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because I've said for a few years now that one of these days I'd like to write a story on parents' actions and things that they say and things that you overhear, I overhear, and it's not always parents, it's fans. After Beebe took a loss last night from Paragould, as we're loading up, going to our vehicles, you often wonder, I see two men standing over here behind the concession stand kind of whispering, and I see three guys over here, and you're wondering are they ready to send Coach Shannon out the back door, or are they already over there discussing, I don't like the way he's doing it, he ought to be starting this guy. You know what? Let's get off the criticism. Let's get off the negative part of sports, and let's start encouraging these kids. They're not going to win every game or everything that they perform at. Sometimes losing makes you better, but the main thing that I know that Greene County Tech brings to the table, when I say Greene County Tech, I'm talking about the coaching staff. They bring leaders. They bring good citizens. They bring good young men to this program, and trust me, they all want to win. You came up short last night, 6 points from winning the football game, but obviously you did some really good things in the second half to overcome that 19-0 deficit.
Right. Yeah. There's not a coach in the business that doesn't want to win. I'll promise you that. Nobody goes into the game or the profession itself and says, hey, I want to go out there and give it my all, but if we lose, we lose. Now, that's not how it works. And that's a frustrating deal, but it also frustrates the people, the parents that come out and they're hard at it and really support our program, and we've got a lot of those. I'm going to just tell you, we've got a lot of great people that surround our program, that support our program, and we're really appreciative of that as coaches. But people have the right to criticize you when you're making mistakes and that type of deal, and we take that. And I tell the kids constantly, hey, it's time to go out there, and people are still talking. People are still talking. Go out there and prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Go out there and rise to that next level, and do what we need to do to stop all of the talk, because when you're winning and when you're doing things right, everything gets real quiet all of a sudden, and everybody's happy, but that's just part of it, and I think that once again, we're going to correct our mistakes, and we're going to do what we need to do to get out there and be right there in the playoff hunt at the end of the season. I think that we'll still sneak up on some people that are doubting us, and once again, I feel pretty good about our guys still yet. I'm not down on them. I'm upbeat with them, and we just gotta get better and move on with life.
Well, they're young men, and they're I know them very well. I know every one of these young men very, very well. Probably the football team that I know the best, because I'm around them a lot with other things that I do in my profession. And they're good young men. They come to practice every day. They work hard. Speaking of the parents a minute ago, A lot of those parents are sitting up on that hill every afternoon watching practice, and I actually seen this with my own eyes more than once, that when they come off the field tired, full day of school, just had a 2.5 hour practice, carrying their helmet, and they're dragging up that hill heading to the locker room. There's parents right there at that gate giving them high fives and encouraging them.
No doubt.
And that's pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Greene County Tech, the adults take their football serious. They stand behind their young men. They stand behind their coaches. You are correct. Sometimes we are going to get criticized. What I meant a minute ago is not just for Greene County Tech, it's for all schools.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we lose a game or two, and all of a sudden we want to go off on people, and we don't know the whole circumstance. You know, we don't maybe realize that we're a down year, or maybe don't have the athletes this year, or maybe we lost a starting quarterback that we were we were going to have before the season started. There could be so many scenarios and so many different things that could happen. But anyway, the best thing you can do with these young people is encourage them. They need your encouragement, and pat them on the back and tell them to keep plugging at it, because you know what? They're going to have things like this happening the rest of their life, Coach.
Right.
Ups and downs is part of it. So I appreciate you very much coming on and taking Coach Conaway's place, talking to us about these young men and the defensive side of the ball. You're doing an excellent job. I've said many times since school started that I feel like that Coach Conaway has finally put his coaching staff together that could possibly be here for a while. Group of great coaches that have a passion for these kids, and they have a passion for the game of football, and it shows when you go in the locker room. So I appreciate you coming, Sharon. Hope you come back again. We're going to take us a...
Wave at the camera, folks. Say hi. We're live at Badden's Donuts and Bakery for Double G Sports Talk Saturday, and we'll be right back on your PrimetimeSports.com.
Mr. T's Riverside Cafe in Cardinal, Missouri for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us after the game for a pizza or our delicious hickory smoked barbecue. Just a short drive across the Kahlua-colored waters of the St. Francis River at the Arkansas-Missouri state line in the scenic resort town of Cardinal, Missouri.
Mr. T's and
Welcome to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Hello, I'm Clifton Garmrath, and I have some very exciting news for you. This year, YourPrimetimeSports.com will be bringing you live video coverage of 5A youth football. Check out our scheduled broadcast on YourPrimetimeSports.com. Become a fan of our Facebook page and catch all the live action right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Welcome back, Double G Sports Talk Saturday, here on your PrimetimeSports.com. Clifton has got our next guest in place. We're getting her squared away. It is Kathy Bolin, the cheerleading sponsor at Greene County Tech. Let me get y'all's mics on real quick. There we go. Y'all can talk now.
Good morning. Good to have you. Bowling. See, we have. Oh, it's her husband we have on during basketball season. Okay.
Yeah, and he's here, by the way. Hang on one second.
No.
He's over there feeding his face. Okay. Look at there. Everybody, wave at the camera, Coach. There you go.
You did something that I wouldn't even have done. You gave him a little camera time.
I'm a horrible person.
So today is his wife's camera time. So we have Kathy Bowling on to talk about cheerleaders and what it's like to be a sponsor of a 22 girls. Man, that's a job in itself right there.
It is a job.
And so tell us a little bit what goes on at Greene County Tech and what it takes to be a cheerleader, and how do you have to go through? Do you have to try out? What do you got to do?
Yes, they have tryouts in the spring, in March, sometime around spring break, but we have 22 young ladies who are on the squad this year for the Spirit Squad, the ones who cheer at the ball games. They have to be able to tumble, to do back handsprings. They have to be able to do jumps. And then, of course, have spirit and, yell and be excited. And we have to be able to see that in them. So we hire judges to come in so that
they don't know them,
right? They don't know them. So they try out in front of a panel of judges that do not know them, and
So this is no political thing.
It's no political
Mama
thing.
calling up saying, "Hey, pick my daughter, pick my daughter."
It's no that might happen, but but it is no political thing. The judges we don't know the judges, and they don't know the girls, so it's completely on ability, and that's the way we want it, and it needs to be.
Yes, and that's in the spring, correct?
Yes, it is in the spring.
Now, Greene County Tech, I don't know about the other schools, but I do know this about Greene County Tech. You have a spirit squad, which is the 22 girls you were just talking about.
Yes.
Is what you'll see at the football and the basketball games on the sideline cheering.
Yes.
And then you have what's called a competition squad. Tell us about, is that some of the same girls? Is that a different group? And tell us what they do.
It is the same exact squad, except we have 2 girls on the spirit squad that are not on the competition squad, and then there are also 2 boys that are on the competition. Since it is the same squad, essentially, we kind of combine our practices so that we work on whatever we need to be working on, whether it's a sideline performance or a competition, whatever the most important thing is for that practice, that's what we work on. But the competition squad, they come up with routines that we go to competitions all over the state and compete, and then that's the squad that will go like to the state competition in Hot Springs, which is in December.
Now, speaking of that, there's a competition state, and then is there a spirit state?
No, there's just one state right now, so we do.
So just competition.
Yes. And before they separated the squads, I think it was just a state competition, and the spirit squads were the ones who got ready for that. But since we have a competition squad now, they're the ones who get ready and go to that.
Now, back when your husband and I were in high school, the cheerleaders, I remember when they would come to pep rallies and so on and so forth, they had what was called a spirit stick, and they'd have all these ribbons and awards. Do they still do that in the summertime?
Yes. And I know this is my first year as the spirit cheerleading sponsor, so I'm learning day by day. But they hadn't gone to a cheerleading camp in the last several years, and so we did do that this summer. We went to University of Little Rock this summer in June and went to a cheerleading camp, and they were awesome. I mean, none of the girls had ever gone to a camp. None of them knew what it was like to have to learn a routine during that day and then perfect it by the next day and perform and compete against Pine Bluff and Little Rock and, schools that were
a lot of big schools.
Yes, they weren't classified by 2A,
right.
3A, 4A. It was just everybody together. And we won several blue ribbons. We won the overall best tumbling squad there. The girls won that. We brought a spirit stick home. So they did exceptional. Abby Huckabee, which is a junior on our squad, she's on the spirit and competition. She got best overall cheerleader at the camp.
Wow.
Overall, over everyone.
How many girls there? Probably 500?
This camp, it was because they had added a few extra camps. This one wasn't as big, but there were several hundred, probably maybe 300 to 400 this time. But yes, it was an awesome.
But what an honor!
It was a great honor
to be named the cheerleader over all the rest of them there, and I know Abby, and Greene County Tech has in the past few years been an exceptional cheerleading squad because. I believe, what was it, 2, maybe 3 years ago, they won the state?
Yes, I think it was 07.
Oh, okay. Well, time flies by. It seems like the older I get, the faster it's moving. But anyway, it's when Miss McCreelis was the sponsor, long-time sponsor for Greene County Tech, and they were the state champions. And why I'm bringing this up is they beat out schools that were 6 and 7A schools because they were all in that same category.
Yes, and we like having the boys on the squad because they do bring a lot as far as tumbling and stunning, but it allows us to be in the co-ed divisions in the competitions.
Right.
And it gets a little more exciting, and yes, when the co-ed divisions, you have all of those together. They don't split those up as far as 5A and 6A. So you're in there with Jonesboro and Springdale and you name it, so they get to compete against some big schools.
Now, really, the only time that I see the boys is during basketball. Are they out there with football too?
No, we have one that does come out there some, and he just kind of stands over with us, the sponsors, and then whenever they get ready to stunt, he will go out there and stunt with them occasionally, but he's not on the Spirit Squad, so he just does that when he wants to come to the game and be a part of it. So he's not at all a part of it except when he wants to stunt.
Now, they're kind of like spotters, or are they? I don't know if it's a spotter, but they kind of hold them up. They're using their muscles to hold them up, to keep them from falling and landing and cracking a skull or whatever. That's their job. But they also have I see some of them do backflips sometimes. I see some of them do some things. So they do have some athletic ability and doing handsprings and things of that nature. So tell us, do the guys try out also?
Yes, the guys have to try out also.
Okay.
We didn't have any guys try out for Spirit Squad this year, so they just tried out for competition. But as far as athletic ability and their muscles and that kind of thing, guys and girls, you have to be, a lot of people don't know this, but you have to be very athletic to be a cheerleader. As far as those girls, they want to lift weights and they want to go to the weight room, but that's what I tell them every single day for at least an hour. Most of them are picking up a 100-pound girl, 20 times, because we do them over and over and over until we get it, the way we want it. But they are constantly lifting weights.
I've always said this, some of the strongest, maybe physical physique, you can tell they work out, or they're chiseled, I guess called chiseled, are male cheerleaders and gymnasts, male gymnasts, because they use their upper body so much. They're holding up, they're tossing up in the air, they're doing all kinds of things, and so they have this physical physique. One of my best friends in high school ended up, he wasn't a cheerleader in high school. We didn't do those things back then.
That wasn't politically correct.
That's correct, back in the 70s. But anyway, he was a great football player. He was a real good track runner. His name was Bill Pilon. He's a football coach up at Poplar Bluff now, assistant football coach, been there for years.
When I lived in Poplar Bluff, I babysat his son.
Is that right?
For about
One of my
a year.
best friends. When I go to Poplar Bluff, I always yell at him.
Was it Dylan, I think? Anyway, go ahead. That was awesome.
But anyway, he went to ASU and became a cheerleader at ASU. And I was I was up in St. Louis playing ball, and he was, and I thought, Bill's a cheerleader. Wow! But anyway, he was very, very athletic and could do things that were amazing. So yes, you do have to be athletic, and it's an encouragement for boys to come out because you need those guys.
We do need them, and they do have to be very athletic.
This fly, I guess he thought that was a landing pad right there. It's not. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's not. The guys have to be very, especially, and I think in college, a lot of guys who maybe didn't cheer in high school or just kind of help fill in, you'll see a lot of guys in college that that went on. Maybe that was a scholarship that they could get that they couldn't get in another sport. But my sister cheered at Three Rivers in Poplar Bluff, and I know there were guys on there that had been former high school football players, but they joined the cheerleading squad. They could get a scholarship, and it was something that kept them physically in shape.
Sure. Well, it's considered a sport by the AAA now. We love bringing y'all on and talking about it and finding out what all y'all have to do. Now, we just wrapped up the 4th week of football, so let's go into the last 6 weeks of football, what y'all have to prepare for, your practicing schedule, how much time and y'all put in, and lead into basketball.
We have, and I didn't mention, Sarah Morton, Coach Morton, one of our football coaches.
Yes.
She's our competition sponsor, and since it's mainly the same squad, she and I work together on both squads, so we each have an individual title, and she is wonderful. This is her first year, and it's my first year, so we are learning together, but she has a lot of cheerleading experience. So
whole new cheerleading staff.
Whole new staff. But I guess my area that I'm more knowledgeable in is conditioning. And I know this doesn't sound right. I did not cheer. I played basketball, so I'm more into how to condition for it, and she's more into the conditioning, but the cheer part, the perfecting.
She was cheerleader, right?
Yes, she cheered in college and high school, and so she knows that part. But the girls, we practice. We have a cheerleading class period every day, so we practice in there. But then Monday and Tuesday mornings, our girls, every one of them, all 24, when we do the competitions, are there at 6 o'clock in the morning at school, Mondays and Tuesdays. For the last 6 weeks, we've done that, and we'll continue to do that. But they practice for an hour then before school, and then we practice on Thursday afternoons from 5 to 7, and then Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4. So they put in a lot of time to get ready for sideline things, competitions, whatever. But we have their first competition is October 20th. So that's what they are trying to perfect and get ready. And
that's where y'all are going to go somewhere on a Saturday.
Yes.
And you're going to compete against other schools.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think on an average of 7, 8, maybe 10 hours a week y'all are practicing?
Yes,
yeah.
I would say yes. And it depends on, if there's, when we get closer to competitions, our competition season is normally November and December, from what I understand, from what I've seen in the past. And those are almost every Saturday, they're going somewhere for that short period of time. So it's very strenuous. And we do a lot of running just because that's only a 2.5-minute routine that they have to do. But they are constantly either doing back handsprings or lifting or climbing in the air for that 2.5 minutes. So the endurance that you have to have for that is unreal.
Well, if you're doing a dance routine especially, and you have music involved in this, and it's a very fast-paced song, you're getting after it. You're shuffling maybe from one side of the floor to the other. You're lifting someone up. You're tumbling. And you're doing all this in one motion, constantly moving. Let me tell you something. I couldn't do it.
It's 2.5 minutes of, like you said, I know people joke cheerleaders can't count past 8, but but that's what they base everything on is 8 counts. And I mean, some of those songs that they do, a lot of our stunts and tumbling and that kind of thing are to music. And like you said, they are very fast 8-count songs, and so they don't have any time to mess up or breathe, or it's just once that they start, it's 2.5 minutes of fast-paced workout.
I've always enjoyed halftime entertainment. Last night we were at Beebe doing the Paragould Beebe football game, and we left the camera on the Beebe band. They performed the whole halftime show last night. I'll tell you something, they're awesome. And so I love the halftime entertainments and the things of that nature. Greene County Tech has always put on a good show with their cheerleaders. They get out there and they have their routines and they practice the song that they're, or it could be a combination of songs. What's it called? A mix? Yeah. So I see, I know a little bit, over 50.
Lingo.
Yeah, I got some lingo. Thank you. So anyway, they practice this all week long, and they do a really, really good job of performing and getting the rail rumblers going and the fans going, and it's always exciting around there to watch them. They work hard at what they do. So anyway, tell us, now you go from football right into basketball.
Yes.
And that's a long season. That's a whole lot more
It
cheering.
is a long season. It's 2 games a week.
Yeah, at least.
At least, depending on if it's conference season or not. But and this is, like I said, I haven't done a basketball season before with them, so it's going to be new to me too. But I know they stay exhausted because we do, with the same girls, I remind them all the time, you're on 2 squads. So even though you're cheering these ball games and stuff, you are still practicing, early in the morning to get ready for those competitions. So even when they've been exhausted and out till midnight on Friday night, Sunday we're still up there at 2 o'clock working their tails off.
Right.
So it's the boys give the girls a hard time, but the girls come right back, and say, we don't get a break from our seasons. We go straight from, we go to camp in the summer and practice and get ready for stuff, and then we start football season, and then we start basketball season, and then we get ready for tryouts, and then we get ready for camp. So it's
Now, do you have? Speaking of that, I tell you what, is this fly season today? Wow. Do you have many injuries?
We do. Well, not any serious injuries. I spent Monday morning in the emergency room with one of our girls.
Oh, man. That's an injury, Kathy.
It was. Well, we hadn't had any major until that. And it was fine. But Kayla Adams she's a base, which means she's one of them on the side lifting one of the girls up. And it was falling, and so between everybody trying to catch and I think it was actually one of the guys' elbows just caught her in the eye.
Oh, man.
And so it just split her eye right between her eyelid and her bone, just split it wide open. So we decided we might ought to go to the emergency room.
Did she have to have any stitches?
No, they glued it. But that is amazing to me. I mean, her eye was still all puffy and still black and blue, but the swelling's gone down. But
glad we did that banner a while back, because I'd had to Photoshop all that.
Yes, me too. Well, that's what her sister's getting married in 2 weeks, and that's the first thing she said is, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be that way for the wedding." But the Dr. Bonner was at the emergency room, and he glued it a little bit at a time, and her eye still was puffy and all that black and blue, but that big gash was just a little bitty slit after he glued it. So
wow.
Yes, that was major. But our injuries are bruises and little stuff like that. And I mean, our girls and guys do a great job of catching, because until they get a stunt right, they fall and they dive over people and everything else to make sure those flyers don't hit the ground. So they do an excellent job.
No, but hardly any knee injuries or elbows or...
The ones who have those are the ones who are more gymnasts, and they do a lot of extra gym time, on cheerleading or gym squads and things like that extra. We do have a lot that have knee braces and stuff, but it's not from the stuff that we do there.
Now let's talk about this. Coach Hunt, our fourth guest, came in, so we're getting close to his segment. Let's talk about this real quick. The cheerleaders, how do y'all make your money? And one of them I'm going to lead into is what's here in front of me. Tell me how you raise your money like some of the other sports. They go out and they sell billboard signs. They have cards with restaurants on it, coupon cards. So what do you girls do to raise money?
We have, a couple of times, one time when I've done it, they went to Sonic and washed windows for people, and people just, if they wanted, some of them didn't donate, and that was fine. The girls were excited to wash their windows, but they washed windows for donations.
They didn't donate.
A few people didn't.
Are you serious? They did. They washed my windshield, and I think I gave $10, and that cost me more than a car wash. I could have got my whole truck done for $10.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move on.
But the girls did a great job of washing their windows, even though I was glad they didn't know they weren't going to tip before they washed them.
Yeah, don't tell them they'll be discouraged. You discourage them.
But there are some businesses in town also. The girls will go in and, wait tables or clean off tables or refill drinks, and maybe split tips with the people. And with my connections with the basketball team. Do
you have connections with the basketball team?
I have connections occasionally.
Okay.
They have camps in the summer or the tournaments in the summer that they put on, and it takes a lot of people. So usually Coach Bolin has to hire people to work the gate or the, things. So you get the cheerleaders. He hired the cheerleaders, so that helped raise quite a bit of money.
Well, I hired the cheerleaders, because I have a connection with the basketball team, which gives me a connection with you.
Yes.
So I hired the cheerleaders. Hey, Dave, I'm gonna hold this up. Make sure I get it in the.
You want to zoom in?
Yeah, in the frame, please.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. There we go. We're in.
Okay, this is the new. Hey, Scott, this is the new YourPrimetimeSports.com magazine. This is the football issue. The basketball issue will be out around 1st to middle of November. But why I'm showing that to you is Kathy's cheerleaders are selling those.
Yes.
And they get 50% of that money. The magazine's $2. And how are sales going?
They're going well. The first part of the season, we had rainy ball games.
Yeah, everybody did. Because I got to tell you the story real quick. Coach McCroskey, the Blytheville head football coach, was here last week, and we did his game the week before when they played West Memphis. And when I went to the coach's office when they were playing West Memphis, I went in there to visit with him like I do all the coaches. He says, Cliff, I haven't even pulled the magazines out. It's supposed to rain tonight, and I don't trust anyone not getting them back in the building without them getting wet, and I know I'm responsible for them. So, yes, really, last night was the first opportunity that anyone's had to sell the magazines.
Yes. On our makeup game on that Saturday, we had, before the game, but we had some of the cheerleaders try to go through the stands. And I think we probably sold 30 or 40 that game, and that was surprising because, you know, it was an ASU game and an Arkansas game. But last night, I think we sold quite a few. And I know some of the parents are taking them to work with them. But, you know, that's what I tell them. They have coupons in the back that will more than pay for their $2.
Oh, yeah. And I think the basketball won't have even more than that. But, you know, do y'all take them to junior high games or 7th grade games? You know, some of those younger parents that know their kids are going to be coming through the program might want to tap into this.
They haven't. And I asked about it at one time, and they had said they weren't sure if they would allow us because it was junior high domain, but I'm going to check and see if we can before it gets too far into the season. I just kind of...
Now, Forrest City would have been a good one last night being home to sell a few on that side because they only took like a couple of boxes.
We had a couple of girls take some over there.
Did they sell it?
They sold about 15, I think. They
really?
sold all of them that they had with them. So.
Well, that's pretty good. So, see? Well, anyway, you can get your YourPrimetimeSports.com magazine here in Paragould from any of the Greene County Tech cheerleaders, their parents, or from Kathy Bolin, or
Big Top Flea Market.
Big Top Flea Market, but we don't. I'm promoting cheerleaders right now, so let me handle the show here, my friend.
Sarah.
Sarah
Morton.
Yes, so I had a brain lapse there. But anyway, you can get your magazine from any of those folks. Half of the money goes to the Tech cheerleaders. And it helps. That's a fundraiser for y'all.
Yes, it is.
And the basketball magazine, y'all be selling that one. And the baseball, softball, you'll be selling that one. So they have an opportunity to have a really nice fundraiser for the 2012-2013 school year. So support those cheerleaders. And that does a lot of things for them because as most of the other sports have their fundraisers, this helps them. So.
All right, before we go to break, I got a quick, I know you guys talked about this with Coach Skelton in the previous segment about Travis Ryan's injury last night.
Yes.
Turns out, I just talked to his brother, Scott Ryan.
Yes, Scott seen.
And it was just a big old stinger is what it was, and he ought to be ready, should be ready by next Friday. So I wanted to give you an injury update on that. You talked about it last segment.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you getting that information. Listen, when somebody walks in the door, if Dave knows he can get the information from, he's all over them. I'm telling you. Sometimes I want to give him a stinger, though.
Hey, you have before, so.
All right. Well, Kathy, thank you. See, this wasn't hard, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad, no.
Will you come back?
I would have worn makeup if I known I was going to be on camera.
You look fine. She looks fine.
She looks fine.
Yeah. But anyway, she said I didn't tell her yesterday when I was coming in from Fort Smith that this was live TV.
I didn't believe her. You let stuff slip. You slip your mind sometimes.
Do you think I'm doing that on purpose? I did it.
I think you're tricking people.
Coach Burnside said that from Paragould, and one other female we've had. Coach Malone said that.
You're not letting them know ahead of time because they wouldn't show up if they knew it was TV.
I think this is what I'm doing. I'm going, hey, Kathy, do you mind being on Your Primetime Sports in the morning? It's live TV. And maybe your segment will be about 9:40, and I think I'll whisper that through there, and you don't catch it.
It kept cutting out on the phone call, so you
you
probably
look
knew
beautiful.
it was
Okay, well, let's
out.
just ask you this. Had you known it was TV, would you still have come?
Sure she would have for me.
Look at that hesitation.
Sure she would have.
I would have been here.
But anyway, thank you for coming and talking about the cheerleaders. We're going to have you back. Yeah, we're going to have you back during basketball, okay?
All right.
So we'll have you back, and our next guest is going to be Coach Bruce Hunt.
That's right. We're going to take a break.
We're going to go back to golf.
We're going to talk some more golf. Hey, everybody wave. You're on TV.
Lisa's not waving.
Nobody's waving, I know. Everybody wave.
They're eating.
And we're going to be back in 2 minutes with Bruce Hunt. Talk some more high school golf right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould, or on the web at chrisrobinson@allstate.com.
You get big time savings and hometown service with the best Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving, service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
At First National Bank, you have convenience right at your fingertips. And instant buying power. It's so easy. And when you're on the go, well, you know what to do. We understand the importance of now. First National Bank, the working bank for working people.
All right, welcome back, yourprimetimesports.com, back here at Batten's Donuts and Bakery for our final guest of the day. And Clifton is sitting with him now. It is the Greene County Tech golf coach, Bruce Hunt.
Good morning, Coach Hunt.
Good morning.
Let me move this closer to your mouth. Look at mine right here, like under the bottom of your lip. There you go. That way we can hear you real good. Now, Coach Hunt is usually, he's no stranger to yourprimetimesports.com, but he's usually on here as the head baseball coach for Greene County Tech. But today we're going to be talking about some golf, and your boys are leading the way right now. They just won the district title, 5A East Conference title.
Yes, we were able to win the 5A East district golf title,
which was last Tuesday.
Okay. At the Paragould Country Club. We got to play on our home course, so that was an advantage for us. And we shot a 312 as a team. It wasn't our best score of the year, but it was a solid score, and we were able to win by 21 strokes over second place Paragould. But I thought Paragould did a real good job too, and I congratulate them for being able to get into the state tournament too. And also, we had a playoff between Nettleton and Beebe, and Beebe was able to win the shootout with that, and
that was for third place to get because they only take 3 to the state, right?
Right, three teams of the state,
right?
And they were able to go over Nettleton, and Beebe was in a terrible place. One of the golfers had got in on the other side of a bunker, and he chipped in, and he couldn't even see the hole, and chipped in from about 60 feet and couldn't even see the hole, and was able to. It was just a kind of a miracle shot because it looked like Nettleton was getting ready to go, and all of a sudden the tide turned, and pretty exciting that BB got to go. And I was telling.
So Nettleton went home.
Yeah, Nettleton.
And BB's going to the state on that one shot.
On one shot.
Wow.
One shot turned it around.
Wow. And that happens in golf. Trust me, it does. But you know, Coach McGowan was on this morning, and he was talking about not only his program but your program, and the advantages that you guys had was your home course. You know, your home course, you know, like the back of your hand. So that has to be a huge advantage for you.
Right. We've shot our best scores at Paragould Country Club, and you know, I also want to say that, and I'm sure Coach McGowan probably brought this up too. We really appreciate the fact that Paragould Country Club will let us come out and
He
play.
did.
And the greens and the fairways were in great shape. We had great weather Tuesday, a little cool in the morning, but it shaped up to be just a beautiful day, and they had everything ready for us, and we just appreciate them letting us come out there and play, because it's sometimes it could be an inconvenience to the members when we're out there, and we understand that, and we understand it's a privilege, and we appreciate the fact that they'll let us do that.
It is good for them to be able to do that and support the golf program here in Paragould, and I think the people of Paragould do that quite well. One of the things that I'd like to touch on is Coach McGowan talked about Noah Tullis. We had Noah on for about, I'd say 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of his segment, talking about what he did and the playoff and what he's preparing to go in 2 weeks. It seems like the Paragould, you hear a lot about Noah Tullis, and he is a very, very good golfer. Is Greene County Tech more of a four-man, five-man squad? I don't hear as much as like an individual person like I do Noah. Noah's an exceptional golfer.
Right.
Who's your number one man on Greene County Tech?
Well, for most of the year, Colin Carr shot
Colin.
Number,
he was in here
one.
this morning.
Yeah, and Colin actually came up last hole. It became a tie with BB's Stan Kersey and Paragould's Noah Tullis for they had a playoff, and Kersey from BB actually won the playoff for medalist in the district tournament. But
Colin was right in that medalist hunt.
Colin shot, on the last hole, if he shoots par, if he pars the last hole, he wins.
Wow.
He shoots a 72 and wins. Bogey, he's in the tiebreaker with all three of them. But he got in some trouble and got 18 can get you in trouble in a hurry.
18 can eat your lunch.
Yeah, and it got him, and he ended up shooting a 75, was a solid score for us and for him. But we kind of rely on all five of our golfers to come in when somebody shoot five and count four scores, and we need the consistency from everybody. We don't have one or two guys carrying us. It's a team.
I knew it was. That's why I asked that question. I don't play golf anymore. I probably hadn't played in 3 years, and that was in Rogers or Springdale or Fayetteville. I don't remember when I played last. A full 18 holes anyway. I went out with Coach Bolin and Barry Davis and Trace a few weeks ago and played. Just hit the ball for 3 or 4 holes. But as far as playing 18, when I used to play the Paragould course all the time, I think, is it number 4 or number 5, the number one handicap hole, the way they rank them?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I've always said that 18 ought to be,
right,
because it is a tough hole, and it's long, it's straight. You got trees on both sides. If you don't hit the ball straight, you're going to be in trouble. Everyone tries to knock it past the cart path up there that goes across the fairway and back up the left-hand side. You have bunkers all the way around the green. The green's really sloped, and it's a tough hole.
I'm sure number 5 is the.
I think it is
the high handicap hole, and I would say if I had to play it, if I was playing, it'd be 5 would be the toughest one for me. It's easy to get out of bounds right there, and then you got to fire up, uphill,
right,
and over bunkers. So it's.
But I've always said that 18 ought to be.
18.
Boy, it could be very easy, and in a lot of courses it could be.
Right.
So, but anyway, back to the game of golf. Now, how many men or young men do you carry on the roster here, with the exception of your top 4 or 5? And let's go through the names and let's talk about those. I see you got some numbers here.
Yeah, we have a big golf team, and we try to if a young man or young lady wants to come out and try to improve their game and everything, we'd like to we're interested in keeping them, and if they come out, act right, and do right, we want them around, and hopefully they'll progress. We run into where we can't take all of our golfers, especially on the road. We try to play as many as we can when we're playing at home, and a lot of times we can play our full golf squad at home, but on the road, you run into other schools. If you have too many schools, you wouldn't get done. You wouldn't get done with 18, or you'd clog up the course. And
well, not only that, I mean, you don't want to take a 50-foot bus when you can take a little cargo van or something like that, for...
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we normally have to take a full-size bus.
Oh, you do? I figured y'all took a little van or something.
Well, the little bus is down right now.
Down and out?
Yeah.
Like me and you?
Yeah. Wore out. The guys who shot in our top 5 most of the time this year, Colin Carr, senior, Jace Evans, senior, Bradley Wolford, senior, Dylan Edgerton, junior, and B.J. Martin, sophomore.
So 3 out of those 5 are seniors.
Right.
Wow.
And then Blaine, Rye, Stone, Rasmus also did a good job, and they both were shot a couple times in the top 5, and those guys are going we're looking for them as well as Oliver Dozier, Colton Batten, Braden Buck, Luke Reddick, and a couple other guys. We're looking for them to step up. And
isn't he moving up the ladder pretty good?
Yes, yeah, he's
Colton.
He's improving. He's out there a lot. He's improving his game and doing a good job. Blaine and Stone are freshmen, and they're coming on. Their scores have been solid all year, and Braden Buck, Oliver Dozier, those guys are they're working, and there'll be 3 spots open next year, and it'll be a battle to see who's going to be able to take those spots. But I feel good about it because those guys, their scores are close. They're real close to be able to be in our top 5. So
you got some true competition now, that group.
Yes.
Now Stone, he had an older brother that I think's already graduated from high school that was a real good golfer.
Yeah, Miles.
Miles.
And he's playing college golf.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He did a real good job for Paragould High School, and I think Stone's right there with him. If I remember Miles when he was Miles may have been just a little bit better, and probably any other year, Stone would have a good chance of being in our top 5. We just, we have some guys that have been there and shot well. The 4, we have 4 guys coming back from last year.
And Stone is a sophomore or junior?
Stone is a freshman.
Oh, freshman. So you're going to have him for a while.
Yeah, Stone and Blaine are both freshmen, and they shoot real close to
the same score.
Well, the 1 through, they at times they shoot well enough to to be in the top 5.
Now, do you have so you carry 17 boys as I'm looking at your list here? Am I right?
Yes.
3 girls.
Yeah, that is, and our girls they did not qualify as a team, but I'll have 2 going as individuals. Rena Ward and Hannah Callahan will be playing in the girls' state as individuals, and that'll be next Tuesday and Wednesday. That'll be at Hot Springs, Arkansas. Play a practice round on Tuesday, and then the match will be on Wednesday.
We're at Hot Springs.
It's the Hot Springs Country Club.
The old country club?
Yeah, the old new one. Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. I played that course before.
Yeah.
Do not get in the sand trap. You ever stood in one of them sand traps?
We've played there actually several times. We've had several state tournaments.
If it's the old country club, there was a sand trap. Troy Gramlin and I, there were several of us went from the church one time. We played, and I hit in one of the sand traps. And by the time that it's like I almost had to have a ladder to get down to my ball. It was just so deep. By the time I got down there, I couldn't even see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to hit this thing straight up and really lob it. And I thought, wow, this is tough course.
Well, it's a really nice course, and they put they keep every time we go down there, they're putting more and more money into it and doing improvements. And
it's one Al Capone played on.
Building. Maybe that's why those holes are so deep.
They found some gold buried or some money buried out there in the course. Dave's dying to ask
I
a
have
question.
a question because, I mean, you coach baseball also. You're the head baseball coach. How
Yes, sir.
quickly after golf season is over, do you take any kind of a break or do you go right into baseball?
Well, right now we have a throwing program going on with our.
Well, you're already started on baseball even while golf is going.
Yes, there's got an assistant coach that does our throwing program. So as soon as golf's over, I'll get back involved with our throwing program and our conditioning program, and right after football, we'll start our baseball tryouts, and yeah, it's kind of.
And, of course, we'll have you back here for baseball as well, probably around January or so, looking at the looking into the baseball.
Yeah, right when the baseball schedule starts. So, but anyway, we the boys or the girls are playing in Hot Springs this next Tuesday, or they practice round Tuesday, play on Wednesday.
Right.
Okay. Then the following week, the boys, you travel to Harrison.
Right.
So now, is that a course y'all are familiar with? Have you played that course before?
Well, I don't know if any of our guys have. We've been there before. They hosted the state. Probably our seniors would have been 8th graders.
Okay.
So none of them played on there. When the last time we were there, I remember Josh Stidman he was a freshman, I believe.
And he graduated last year.
He graduated last year, so those guys, that'd be it. Our seniors would have been 8th graders, so they haven't played there yet. But
Right.
But some of them go and play some of these courses anyway. They they play on their own. So I'm not really sure. It's certainly not an easy course. But it has some, to our advantage. It's fairly wide open in places, and that's what we the narrower courses kind of give us trouble.
Do schools bid on their golf tournament being in their community at their home course like they do for basketball? Basketball state tournaments. We hosted the basketball state tournament last March, February, March. Do they do that for golf too?
Right.
Have we ever hosted it here?
We hosted the girls state in 2009, the year we won it. We hosted it that year, and then Paragould hosted the boys state. I think the next year, I think in 2010.
Paragould hosted it. So
Paragould had back-to-back. They had a girls state in 2009, boys state in 2010. I'm pretty sure that's the.
Both those at Paragould Country Club.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Paragould Country Club did a real good job of pulling that off. And
by the way, Coach Hunt has the honor of wearing a 2007 state champion baseball ring and a 2009 state champion girls golf ring. So he has brought a lot to Greene County Tech. What year is this? Your 25th, 26th?
This is my 28th.
28th?
I know it looks like I should just be in my.
I think you just look like you come right out of high school, man. You look good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, he is a definite figure at Greene County Tech. Takes care of the golf program in the fall, at the beginning of school. Takes care of the baseball program in the spring. Has a great coaching staff. I guess you run this golf by yourself, don't you?
Yes.
So, Coach,
a lot of good help from parents.
Yes.
Supporters.
Got to have that for sure. If you don't have them parents and supporters,
and I need to say this. I mean, Coach McGowan, big help during district golf tournament, and a big help through the year. He helps in getting things scheduled and other things. He helps me out a lot.
Well, you're not going to have a finer young man anyway to help you. He's a great guy. So, I mean, you know him like I do. And, Matt's always willing to step up and do what it takes to help his golf program or your golf program or the community. So, anyway, yeah. And I tell you, I just thought of this. I hadn't really thought about it before. What's really neat is Coach McGowan, Coach Hunt, and myself all go to the same church.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So, but anyway, we wanted to bring you on. We want to talk about the golf program as quickly as possible as we could, hit touch as much as we could. We wanted to let everyone know that the boys won the district last Tuesday, and the 2 girls are qualifying as individuals to go to state, which is this next Wednesday in Hot Springs, and the boys will be in Harrison the following week. So thank you so much for coming on. We're going to try to maybe have you on again, maybe when you get back.
Okay.
I just have to look at my schedule, but no doubt about it, we'll have you on for baseball. We love having you on for baseball. So, Dave, I'm going to let you take over here.
Well, I think we're done unless you have anything else you want to go over.
We were just wrapping it up here.
Okay, well, we want to thank all the guests for coming on today. Coach McGowan from Paragould, the head golf coach there. And then we had Coach Skelton, the assistant head coach from Greene County Tech football. Then we had Kathy Bolin, the Greene County Tech cheerleading coach. And, of course, right here with Coach Hunt. What? Sponsor. Coach, sponsor. I call them coaches. To me, that's just the same thing. So that's it. I think we're done for today. What do we got next week?
Well, next week we go to Wynne. We're covering the Greene County Tech at Wynne football game. Do not have our next Saturday morning schedule put together yet. You know I do that on Mondays.
We do that on the fly, really.
I do that on Mondays. I don't do that too far out in advance. But let everyone know that you'll have the video on demand.
Yeah, I'm going
to
work
football
on this.
game.
As soon as we get out of here, I'm going to start working on the football game and today's Double G show, and hopefully have those up by tonight on our video on demand.
You can, and we're getting a lot of viewers on those, y'all. I've been looking at some numbers. I'm like, wow, there are people going and watching this stuff. So if you don't get to see the football game, which was a good win for Paragould last night, big win, 28-21 over Beebe.
Signature win for them for a long time.
You can go to yourprimetimesports.com and you can watch it today. So, but anyway, I'll let you take over. And
that's going to do it for today's edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday. Join us here again next Saturday, right here live from Batten's Donuts and Bakery, 8:30 a.m. And we'll see you Friday night from Wynne when the Greene County Tech Eagles face off against the Wynne Yellowjackets. That's Clifton Garmrath. I'm Dave Grimm. We will see you next time.